Hello and welcome to CKE 10,001's gaming channel. In this video we'll be looking at my GGO, Len Fuka, and Pita Hui deck profile. This deck build runs 17 level 0s, 6 level 1s, 4 level 2s, 15 level 3s, and 8 climax cards. This deck does have a, non-standard number of level 3s, but most of the 3s, the 12 of them, can be early played at level 2. So it's kind of walling people off that way. And the first card we're going to take a look at is the level 0s, the Pita Hui Obstinate Death Wish Pita Hui. It has two effects. The first is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can put the top card of your stock into your clock. If you do, search deck for up to 1 cost 0 or lower avatar net character with level equal to or lower than your level and put it on any position of your stage and shuffle your deck. The second effect is when this card attacks, you can pay 1 stock. If you do, during that attack, perform a trigger check 2 times on the trigger step. So, and this is a level 0 that you need to usually hold into hand to clock at level 2 to early play one of your level 3s. One of your early play lens. So, we'll take a look at that later. Yeah, that is the 3 that you early play with that Pita Hui when it's in your clock. And you can call the level 1 if you use the first effect. And then I'm running 4 copies of the Brainstormer Insightful Shooter Len. It has 2 effects. The first is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can look up 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck, put them back on top of their deck in the original order. The second is activate Brainstorm, pay 1 restless card for the over 4 cards, put them in the waiting room. For each climax reveal, choose up to 1 character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. So it's a self-rest Brainstormer that can salvage a character if you get the Brainstorm off. And then the next card I'm running is the questions about chances of winning Len. I'm running it at 3 copies. It has 2 effects. The first is the character facing this card gets auto encore 2, which is a downside. And then the second effect is when this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, choose one of your other avatar or net characters, rest it, move it to an open position of your backstage. Because it's 3,000 power, and it has an ability, it has to have a downside ability to balance the power off. And then the next card I'm running is 2 copies of Bold Tactic Fukazora. It has 1 effect. When this card is placed into your waiting room from the stage, you can discard a card. If you do, look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 level 1 or higher card from one of them, reveal it to your opponent, put it in your hand, and put the rest into the waiting room. So you can grab event cards too, because it says 1 or higher card. But you can't grab level 0s with it. And then I'm running 2 copies of Len Piling Up Experience. It has 2 effects. The first is continuous. All of your other avatar or net characters get plus 500 power. The second effect is activate. Rest 2 of your avatar or net characters. Choose 1 card in your level and 1 card in your waiting room and exchange them. So this is a good card as a backup plan in case you didn't get the specific level 3s you needed in your level, one of those 2, to meet the early play condition. Then I'm running 2 copies of True Identity of the Devil Elza. It has 2 effects. The first is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 1 stock, discard a climax. If you do, choose a climax in your waiting room, returning hand, so it's a climax swapper. And then the second effect is when this card becomes reversed, if this card's battle opponent is level 0 or lower, you may put that character at the bottom of your opponent's deck. So it's a bottom deck reverser. So very useful card. Then for level 1s, I'm running 4 copies of Pink Devil Len. It has 2 effects. The first is when a climax is placed on a climax area, this card gets plus 1500 power until the end of turn. And the second effect is the climax combo. When this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, if Word of Honor is in your climax area, put up to 1 card from the top of your deck into your stock and reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is level 1 or higher, put it in your hand so it gets you plus 1 stock and possibly plus a card. And it's on a gold bar climax. Then I'm running 2 copies of Keeping in Check at Gunpoint Fukazora. It has 2 effects. The first is continuous. This card gets plus 500 power for each of your other avatar and net characters. The second effect is auto encore. Put 1 character from your hand into your waiting room, so that's hand encore. And then if it's a full board, it's 1/175. And then I'm running 2 copies of Best Tactic Up Their Sleeves Fukuzora. It has 2 effects. The first is continuous. Assist all your characters in front of this card gets plus 500 plus X power. X equals to that character's level times 500. The second effect is auto. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, deploy a smoke screen, and then it tells you what the deploy a smoke screen is. It's your opponent puts the top card of your opponent's deck into his or her waiting room. If that card is level 1 or higher, this card gets the following ability until end of turn. Continuous. You cannot receive 1 or less damage by auto effects of your opponent's characters. And then I'm running 2 copies of the ability of a champion Len backup. It has it's the backup effect, and when you use the backup effect, you can pitch 2 cards from your hand to your waiting room. If you do, choose one of your opponent's characters a level higher than your opponent's level and put it into his or her waiting room. So an early play backup punish. And then I'm running 4 copies of Cleansing with Grenades Fukuzora. It has 2 effects. The first is experience. If Promised Land to be kept and Cleansing with Grenades Fukuzora are in your level, this card gets -1 level in your hand, so you can early play it. And the second effect is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 1 stock. If you do, choose one Promise to be kept Len in your waiting room and put it on any position of your stage, which is the green Len over there. Yeah. And yeah, I'm running 4 copies of this for consistency. If you draw into it, you usually clock it, and then pay 1 stock to early play that Len. And then I'm running 4 copies of Promise to be kept Len, the one that you can superior call. It has 3 effects. The first is continuous. If you have another level 3 or higher, this card gets plus 1,000 power. The second effect is when this card is placed on stage from your hand or by the auto effect of Cleansing with Grenades Fukuzora, you can put the top card of your clock into your waiting room so it heals. And the third is when this card attacks, you can discard 2 cards. If you do, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So early play heal that can deal 1 damage. It's a pretty solid card. And I'm running 4 copies of Brimming with Fighting Spirit Len. It has 3 effects. The first is if Obstinate Deathwish Pitahui is in your clock, this card gets -1 level in your hand, so that's the level 0 Pitahui. And then the second effect is if all your characters are Avatar Net, this gets plus 1,000 power. And then the third effect is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can put 1 card from your hand into your waiting room. If you do, put the bottom card of your clock into your stock. That way, the bottom heals for you, but it doesn't heal off your early play condition, which is the Pitahui in your clock if you clock it. Yeah, so that way it's more, it's good synergy that way. And then I'm running 3 copies of Insane Len. It has 2 effects. The first is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, put the top 3 cards of your deck into your waiting room. If there are 1 or more Avatar Net characters revealed among those cards, choose one of your opponent's characters, and that gets -2,000 power. If there are 2 or more, choose one character on your opponent's center stage, and that character gets -4,000 power. And if there are 3 or more, you deal 1 damage to your opponent. And the other effect is the climax combo. When this card attacks, if even by gnawing through the throat is in your climax area, you can deal 1 damage to your opponent. So, yeah. And then the last cards are the climax cards. I'm running 4 copies of Word of Honor, which is the gold bar climax for the level 1 combo, and then running 4 copies of Even by Gnawing Through the Throat, which is the level 3 climax combo. Yep. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Check EncoreDecks.com and the link in the description below to see an overview of this profile.